What if I told you that you can edit 10 times faster without sacrificing the quality by implementing the secret hacks that no one talks about in the editing space? And these are the things that have helped me out to 3x my income in 60 days, so listen up. And if you think about it, as an editor, you literally control your income. The faster you can edit and get things done, the more you get paid. So in this video, I want to share with you everything I've used to achieve that. But before all that, I want to tell you a story. I remember last year I was working hard and showing up every single day just working while still going to school. But I didn't have a system or structure to speed up my workflow. I wasn't able to make money because it took me like 2-3 weeks to edit a single reel. And I'm sure that you have seen the top 1% editors finish a single reel in a day while it takes you a week. It isn't that they have 10 years of experience in the softwares or they have the fastest computer. It actually comes down to these 4 hacks that you can implement straight after watching this video, so that you can hit $1, $5, or even $10,000 a month to eventually turn editing into a full-time career. Because I'm on a mission to help video editors to achieve these milestones but still have the location and time freedom that they want. And in this video, I'm going to break down my exact system to edit faster so that you can copy and paste into your workflow moving into 2026. So the first hack is using presets and plugins while you're editing. I remember when I was editing for an agency back then, and I realized that I had used the same text presets or animations on probably 15 to 20 reels. The way I do this is I come back to an old project, find that animation, copy the keyframes and paste it into the project I'm working on. And this seems not that time consuming, you know, it takes me around 2-3 minutes every time I do that. But one day I realized I was doing it 10 to 20 times on a project. So if you do the math, that's about 30 to 60 minutes wasted on every single project. So I decided to start saving presets, and I would just search and drag it into the timeline. And bro, it's such a game changer. Now it takes me 2 to 3 seconds instead of 2 to 3 minutes. Another thing that comes along with presets or plugins. And no, you don't need 15 different plugins inside of After Effects, because all it does is eating up all of your storage and potentially slow down After Effects while you're working. You just need 3 to 4 right ones that you can use from now on. First one is Self Object. Oh my goodness, I cannot explain how much time this plugin has saved for me, but it's not that popular to editors. Basically, it allows you to import saved animation from previous projects to the project you're working on within one click, because I usually use animations like the follow box, the comment box, or payment notifications, so I would just drag and drop it. Next one is Flow. It allows you to edit the graph editor by just selecting the keyframes and click apply. It also gives you variety of different graphs that you can choose from, and you can also create your own custom graphs. So that's pretty cool. And the last one, you will probably notice FX Console. So instead of coming up to the effects and presets panel and search for an effect, now you can just do it by selecting the layer, hit Control Space, and then search for that preset. Once you have the presets and plugins, now you move on to the keyboard, which is the most used thing when you're working. And you want to make sure that you don't move your hand too much when pressing buttons. In the past, I used to move my entire hand from the left side of the keyboard to the right side of the keyboard to press certain keys, or even letting go of my mouse. When I was younger, I used to play battle games on Roblox for 8 hours a day. And as a gamer, I used the WASD keys to move instead of the arrows. That way I can have my left hand on the left side of the keyboard and my right hand on my mouse. Over time, whenever I got to work, I placed my hands on my keyboard like this, like naturally, without realizing it. So to apply this into editing, you wanna record yourself pressing buttons on your keyboard while you're working, and then check back if there are times where you have to move your hand across the keyboard to press something. After you've done that, you will know exactly what keys to rearrange for maximizing your speed. Now you might be asking, okay Harry, but where do I move those keys to? Well, you need to set those keys to the ones that are closer to your natural hand movement, closer to your left hand. For example, whenever I import a media into the timeline, I have to use my mouse and drag the beginning of that layer to the time indicator. And if it's a long clip, This can take me 10 to 20 seconds to do this, but instead I set the shortcut to the W key, so I will just press it and the layer automatically moves to my time indicator, and I get so much work done by using this hack. Now I've been talking about the technical things that will make your workflow smoother, which are the preset, plugins and shortcuts. But without the next hack, it would be nearly impossible for you to stay focused and work faster. And it's something that 90% of video editors don't pay attention to, but that has made a huge impact in my editing career. So you have had days where you were super productive and got a lot of things done, like you were in the flow state and the work have disappeared around you, and days where you felt like shit, fuzzy, and you said that you were going to finish editing a video that day but ended up scrolling on YouTube Shorts instead. You keep questioning yourself, why does this happen to me most of the time? First of all, that's completely normal, bro. I used to be that guy. Second is mod editors work like that. They literally cannot focus for more than 10 minutes. They're working and they think if any client has messaged them. So they open Instagram and X to quickly check some messages, but ended up doom scrolling instead. They just quickly check for 5 minutes and come back to editing. And this seems small, but this habit is extremely harmful for your workflow and career overall. Because think about it, in order to enter the flow state, it usually takes around 15 to 30 minutes. And every time you check your phone, your focus timer resets to 0 and you have to start all over again. And by doing this constantly, after 3 hours, you will see you have barely made any progress. So if you don't have a productivity system for this, you will never be able to focus on a task for more than 10 to 15 minutes. And this long term can cost you, first, burning out because you're sitting at your computer 12 hours a day but barely making any progress on the projects. Second, missing deadlines, because when you can't focus and distracting yourself while working, it would take 3 to 5x more time to finish a project compared to you staying in the flow state working. So the productivity system includes 5 components, and no, you don't have to overcomplicate this. It's actually really simple. You only need to focus on your sleep, water, diet, exercise, and no distractions while you're working. So back when I was feeling lazy or couldn't focus, I just checked these 5 components, and most of the time it's because I'm missing one of these. Maybe I was having 6 hours of sleep, dehydrated, eating shit, or I skipped the workout that day. So the key here is to actually fix all of these components, and one more really important thing, which is removing distractions. First of all, you don't want to have your phone on the table while you're working. It's dangerous because maybe you say you've turned on Do Not Disturb and you're going to focus for the next few hours. But when there is a crack in your deep work session, the first thing you will grab is your phone, and from that, your entire session is ruined. So put your phone in another room while you're editing. Second, set expectations with people around you. This really works if you're living with your family like me. In the past, they were coming into my room randomly during my workflow. Maybe it was my dad came in to ask me how to do something on his phone. Maybe it was my mom asking me to do the laundry. And don't get me wrong, I love my parents to death, but by doing that, it has the same effect as you checking your phone while editing. Whenever someone comes in, the timer resets to 0. Now, once you have your productivity system in place, we move on to the final hack, which is the fastest way to cut. And it is something that no one has talked about in the editing industry before, but it is the most effective way to cut videos. This is something that has helped me out to go from cutting a project for 40 minutes to now having it done in 10 to 15 minutes. So the method I'm talking about is something called assembly line editing. And this is probably the first time you have heard of this word because, like I said, no one is teaching it. It basically means you're cutting videos in an assembly line, including 4 steps. First step is you cut all of the dead spaces in the footage by looking at the audio waveforms. Second step, copy the clips you have cut into another timeline and name it as rough cut. Then remove the filler words like you know. The third step is moving clips from the rough cut timeline to the fine cut timeline, where you choose the best parts of the clip and optimize the scenes. Now you have a fully cut video that is ready to import into After Effects and do the visuals. Move on to the final step. Import the visuals version of the video and create a timeline called Final Cut. In this timeline, you want to add all of the sound effects, music, and sound design to make the video more engaging. Once that's finished, you have a completed video. Now you have known the 4 hacks that make my workflow 10 times faster and more fun when working. And if you are someone who is serious about turning editing into a consistent income of $1,000 to $5,000 a month while working 12 hours a day and setting yourself up for 2026, then you can DM me Brent on Instagram and I will get back to you. You can ask me for advice and solutions to the problems you're facing. My Instagram profile is in the description and I'm looking forward to talking with you. Peace.